Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Vanessa Boateng. So whether you're applying internal medicine, emergency medicine, surgery, or anything, one of the most important things you'll do is making your rank list. So I am here to share my top 10 tips on how to make your perfect rank list. So for me, I would say the number one thing is know your priorities. Everyone's priorities are going to be different and everyone's going to have their own non-negotiables. My non-negotiable was I wanted to be fairly close to an airport. I'm originally from Toronto, Canada, and my partner lives in Ghana. So I wanted to make sure I could always pick up and travel to my family and my partner. I also wanted a program where I generally felt supported as well. I don't have any children yet, but I was considering potentially having children in residency, so I wanted to go to a program where they had good paternal and maternal leave. My second, I will say, is research your programs thoroughly. It's actually very interesting, but a lot of programs, when I was in this process, there's so many residents that like in the socials and things like that would give their emails and even their phone numbers. And when push came to shove, I would message them, and a lot of them were very forthcoming with information that you would think they maybe wouldn't want to share. So I would say try to reach out to the residents. Of course, you can find out information on the websites, but talking to the residents directly and just finding out what they like about the program, what they don't like about the program, especially in a setting that's not the interview, is like very helpful. So I would say try to do that. Location. So when you're in med school, of course, you're just going to go where it accepts you. And of course, it's pretty similar for residency. But if you are fortunate enough to have a lot of programs in different areas, I would say consider the location. So for me, I know I didn't want to be in a smaller city. I wanted to be in a big city with like big city attractions. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm from Toronto, Canada. So I wanted to go somewhere that I can easily travel to home and that it was drivable. Also, I go to a Ghanaian Presbyterian church. We have a location in Toronto, and I wanted to go to like a similar church wherever I went. That way I could have like that similarities there. Honestly, somewhere that I can go and see myself being there long term. I'm originally from Toronto, Canada, and I'm like tired of like moving to different cities where I can't really start going to church because I'm gonna go and then leave in a couple years. I want to go somewhere where I can like really put in roots. And so for me, when I was choosing a residency program, I was like, okay, where can I go where I can see myself staying here after residency? And that might not be the case. Maybe I'll change my mind, but I felt like going somewhere where I can start like making more long-term friends and just getting more acquainted to the area was something that I wanted. Next thing I would say is make sure that the program's culture and vibes, as well as the training and experience is something that you generally want. Luckily we have the ACGME, which is going to govern programs and make sure they're giving you the training that you need. So I think the clinical experience and training part of it is not as relevant in my opinion, because I know no matter where I go, I'm going to get the training I need. Whether or not it's like over or below that threshold is like, I don't know how, it's hard to say, but I know it's going to be that bare minimum probably that I need to graduate based on the fact that these programs are following the ACGME guidelines or standards. But the program culture and fit, that's something that's different. There were some programs like straight off the bat, I was like, I don't want to be here. I'd rather not be here. And the rank list is it's a contract for those who don't know. And so you want to make sure like the programs that you're ranking and the order in which you're ranking is somewhere that you're going to want to go and that you can see yourself going. And so there were some programs that based on the culture, I didn't even rank. So you want to make sure that like you're ranking programs that you can see yourself happy. Like I told myself, if I would not feel happy here at all, I'm not going to rank it. And I did that for a few programs. So I would say culture is very important. And, you just want to make sure the vibes are not off and the vibes are good. So my next tip is you want to make sure you go to a program that has great work-life balance. So this is like a very hard thing. I think every program is going to tell you that they have that, but do they really have that? I don't know. And you want to make sure that the wellness aspect of things is not just a statement on their website, but they're generally doing things to promote wellness. I would say though, like out of all the programs I ranked 17, only like 4 or 5 genuinely had things in place to like increase your wellness. So I don't think it's that easy of a thing to accomplish, or even like, figure out whether or not a program is being honest about it. But I would say, again, talking to the residents, figuring out the work-life balance would be great in this scenario to see, okay, this program says they do wellness. What do they do for the wellness? How is that achievable? Do they offer financial, reimbursement for doing things that help increase your wellness? Things like that, I would say, is very important because, as you know, residency is extremely busy. My next important tip would be research opportunities. So obviously it depends on what you see yourself in terms of, are you going to work in academics? Do you want to work in the community or whatever it may be? But in order to graduate a lot of residency programs, you do need a research component. And so is that easy to find, or do you have to go digging for it? I would say even in my program, I have already been given some research opportunities that just fell in my lap. I'm not necessarily interested in a fellowship, but if you're interested in a fellowship, you definitely want to make sure that your resume is very packed and filled with very relevant research to whatever fellowship you want. So if that's something you're interested in, you need to make sure they have good research opportunities and funding for that research. My next tip, I would say, is talk to your mentors. And you want to make sure your mentors are not just attendings, but are also your future co-residents, or even people who are no longer in the field, because a lot of these programs have been around for a long time and they can give you advice as to the program's culture, what the program can do for you, what the program can't do for you. And a mentor is generally interested in your growth and your, you going somewhere that's going to truly help foster your learning. And so if you ask your mentors kind of what they think about programs, they can help you, or they can even turn you to someone else who can help you. And that has happened to me quite a few times, where my mentor would then kind of direct me to someone else who had more information on specific programs. And then from there, I use that to say, okay, this is what I was thinking, that's correct, or that's not what you were thinking and that's not correct. So it's nice to get that second set of eyes from someone who wants the best for you, but has nothing to gain from where you go. They just want you to go somewhere that will help give you the best experience. So I would say talk to your mentors, and don't forget to talk to mentors of different stages. So one of my last tips is going to be that you really want to rank based on your own preferences. And I think that's easier said than done. People think, oh yeah, duh, of course I'm going to rank on my own preferences or based on my own preferences. But I find that a lot of people, especially those who are couples matching, or, they have a partner or a family, sometimes they might be picking a program, because someone wants them to be in that city, or because, maybe their mentor told them about that program, even though that program doesn't align with their goals. So I'll say you want it to be your ideal situation, because it's going to be minimum of 3 years, depending on what you do, even longer. And you want to go somewhere where you're going to feel supported, because residency is hard. I've already had my share issues, but you want to make sure that even when you have your obstacles and your issues, that you're going to go somewhere where you'll feel positive about those issues, if that makes sense. And then my last tip will be to make your list, stick to it for a week or so, and then come back to it. So I made my list pretty early. I had my list done by the ending of January. And I feel I was pretty good with my top 5. My top 5 I felt okay with. My top 3 I felt very good with. But as I kept going further down the list, I was kind of a little bit indifferent with some of the programs. But once I revisited it, I was able to say, okay, why did I put this 6th? Why did I put this 7th? And I was able to kind of tease my reasoning out. And then I became confident with my decision. So I would say revisit it. And then the last thing I will say is, if you're in a position where you feel you've had a lot of interviews, or not even that, but you feel you've had enough interviews, make sure the programs that you're ranking is a program that you'd want to go to. I had a few programs that I did not rank, like I mentioned before, and that was a bit scary, because I was what if I don't match? I'm gonna not match because I didn't want to put that program on my list. But I was this is a contract, and if I ended up there, I genuinely don't think I would be happy. And so I did not rank certain programs. So I would say if you're in a position where you have a good number of programs and you are, you know, genuinely feel like if you went to that program, you would be like, you would be over it, I would say don't rank them. The rank list is a binding contract, and you want to make sure that you're ranking programs that you are going to be ready and willing to go to. So I hope you found this helpful. These are just my tips that I use to make my rank list. You know, match is a very interesting, fun time. I remember feeling super nervous, but super grateful to God that I made it this far to be able to submit a rank list. And so I would say once you're done your list, just do something fun, like commemorate this moment, because you deserve it. You have made it so far. And when I think about everything that it takes and took, the sacrifices, the studying, the money to get to this point, it's truly a testament to God's faithfulness in our lives. So I will say that during this time, just take it all in, okay? Because it's truly an amazing and lovely time. If you have any more questions, or if there's any more videos you would like me to make, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.